And now let's get some more analysis. And joining us from the Lebanese capital is Makram Rabah, an author and assistant professor at the American University of Beirut. Thank you so much for joining us on Asia Today. Now,
good evening.
The Israeli military says it's preparing for a possible ground incursion into Lebanon. Hezbollah says that they have been preparing for such an event since 2006. How likely is it, and what are the risks for both sides?
I personally don't believe that a land invasion is even on the horizon. While the Israelis are training and publicly saying that this might be an option if the conflict does run on, and from the other end, Hezbollah are actually dreaming of this day, because if this actually happens, this will give them the ability to resurrect their narrative of protecting Lebanon. At the same time, their somewhat defunct arsenal will become more effective against armor and against Israeli infantry. However, if you tend to look at it, everyone is trying to push the other into an open conflict. Netanyahu has been clear from day one that while he is officially and publicly saying that he only cares and fixated about returning the Israelis to their northern villages, I think that the Israeli army has taken the decision to go all the way and to try to demolish Hezbollah's military infrastructure, which is actually very hard to achieve. At the same time, I think Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah and Iran, by association, have decided also to go all the way. So all of this talk about a land invasion is actually very far, because a land invasion would be a first step into really negotiating a peaceful way out, if not now, maybe down the road. But in all cases, this talk doesn't really translate on the ground.
The U.S. and its allies have called for a 21-day ceasefire in Lebanon, but Hezbollah says its attacks on Israel will stop only if there's a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. But top diplomats have failed so far to secure truce in Gaza. So what is your observation now of the current situation, and how will it play out in the short term?
Well, I don't think that any talks about 21 days are enough to destroy Lebanon in a sense, because Netanyahu and Israel had said that they will only negotiate under fire, meaning that there will be no ceasefire. At the same time, I think that most of this destruction is because Hassan Nasrallah was clear in his last speech to link Lebanon to Gaza, saying that he would only stop firing when the war in Gaza ends, which is making it even worse. This is by combining or by linking these two fronts, he has made this war an inevitable scenario. And ultimately, I think as long as France and the United States are publicly calling for a ceasefire, yet at the same time are supporting and covering Netanyahu's war in Lebanon, I don't think that Netanyahu actually will think twice in continuing to hit Hezbollah and ultimately hope that the Democrats will lose elections and a more robust Republican administration will continue to support him, even if he decides to go an extra mile.
Professor Makram Rabah, thank you so much for sharing with us your thoughts on this. Appreciate your input.